remembers Bizaardvark? Hey, it's John, and today I'll be making my deep dive on the Disney show Bizaardvark. So, first of all, who remembers it? Who remembers seeing it on Disney Channel? Well, to tell you the truth, I didn't see it on Disney Channel, but I'm watching it right now, so this deep dive will be me putting this video out once I finish the show, but right now I'm starting on the first season because I've already seen it, and then I'll tell you about the characters, how much growth they had during the first season, and certain plot points. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Let's start off with Paige and Frankie. Paige is obviously the nicer girl, and Frankie is the more sarcastic, aggressive girl. In the first episode, their dream is to join the Bugle team of internet stars. So they go into the Bugle, much like headquarters, to meet other Bugleans. I mean, it's pretty much like YouTube. So, yeah, the show is pretty much based off of YouTube entertainers, but they call them Buglers instead of YouTubers. And at first it looks like they're unwanted, but at the end of the episode they put on a rap song for the people at Bugle to watch so that they could be accepted into their group of entertainers. The pilot episode actually wasn't that bad. At least Paige and Frankie found themselves to be welcomed at the end, and they got the acceptance of other Buglers to keep putting up videos on their own channel called Bizaardvark. You see, they were already entertainers on their channel Bizaardvark, but they wanted to go to the Bugle headquarters to meet other entertainers to see if they could get accepted by other people, either as friends or people to give them ideas or support of their channel. All in all, I think it was an okay episode. We've got Jake Paul, aka Dirk, the ever wanting to dare himself into things. That's pretty much what his character is. Where he pretty much just takes dares and does crazy things and shows off his goofy personality. I think it's definitely shown that Dirk is supposed to be one of the dumber people in the cast of Bizaardvark, but that couldn't exactly be further from the truth. On one hand, he knows the natural laws of physics without doing math problems. That's why he knows how to do dares pretty well, because he knows the natural side of physics, and he can always surprise you what other talents he may have, even if it may look like he doesn't have them at first impressions. Dirk is so far a pretty likable character. I mean, he'll always show himself to be a brave person. He'll take on challenges, whether it's easy or hard. I mean, that's not to say he doesn't have weaknesses. Like in the second episode, he shows that he's afraid of turtles because he got bitten by one in his bathtub because his dad used to be a turtle store owner where he brought them in the house, and then since that turtle scared Dirk, he doesn't want anything to do with turtles. But the episode with Dirk's turtle fear, it didn't really tackle his fear of turtles very well. I mean, you could see what they were trying to do, but at the end of the episode, he didn't face any real turtles to either show that he's scared or to show that he's gotten over his fear. But they just didn't do the episode that well. I mean, you can see what they were trying to do, but it just didn't work. Once I get into the rest of the show, I'll tell you more about Dirk, but let's focus on another character. Next, we've got the character Bernie Schatz, a supposed talent agent at Bugle. So he'll do whatever he can to make money off entertainers at Bugle. He's best friends with Paige and Frankie, so he usually goes to them when he needs help for something. It's also well established that pretty much his only relative is his grandma, and that he lives with her, and that he's always in constant communication when he leaves the house. Other than that, he's sort of an annoying character, not just because he's the youngest, but he definitely has a crush on Amelia, which I will get to later. But yeah, he's sort of just the self-proclaimed talent agent who goes around and either tries to get money for people or he helps people get to successful ventures. But let's move on. The character from the show is a girl named Amelia. She has a Bugle channel all about makeovers and how to look prettier, in her words. She's very self-obsessed and hardly cares about anyone but herself. She always has to look perfect and make others do the same if they're on her channel. So that's pretty much her character. The conclusion of the first season of Bizaardvark is that there are likable characters and there are definitely lessons to be learned, like friendship, helping others, and doing what's right. Each episode usually has somebody doing something wrong, and at the end they learn from their mistake. Now, would I say that Bizaardvark does its lessons at the best of their ability? Probably not. I mean, I think the second episode could have been better on the facing your fear lesson. Other episodes that definitely have lessons on friendship, which is the main thing on the show, I would assume. But anyway, that's my deep dive for the first season of the show. I will be watching the other two seasons, and I will give you information once I've done that, so we can continue this deep dive. This part of the deep dive focuses on part 2 and part 3 of Disney's Bizaardvark. So, season 2 has definitely changed from season 1 in many respects. First, let's talk friendships. The friendship between Paige and Frankie from season 2 to season 1 has definitely weakened, in my opinion. Everybody else seems to be closer friends, like Amelia to Paige and Frankie, and Amelia to Dirk, and Amelia to Bernie, but Paige and Frankie's friendship definitely has weakened in some regard. You ask, what regard? Well, Frankie definitely becomes a worse influence by a little bit, but usually almost every episode, if they do something wrong, it's usually Frankie who puts Paige up to do something wrong, and at the end of the episode they learn their lesson. But the next episode they kind of still do the same thing again, and then learn their lesson at the end of the episode. That's when I think the positive messages wear down, especially in the second season. Let's talk character development. From season 1 to season 2, the only person that has developed maybe slightly better is probably Bernie and Dirk. Why? Well, Bernie definitely learns new things, and he's not exactly called a talent agent anymore, as that phrase was used in season 1. But in season 2, he kind of goes on his own, like he knows more stuff, and he doesn't have to keep introducing himself to entertainment situations. Well, other than that, Bernie does appear on the Bizaardvark YouTube channel as well as the other co-stars of the show in season 2, and they do a lot more Bizaardvark together with the whole cast instead of just Paige and Frankie. I also should have mentioned Amelia. In the first season, she appears to be extremely lazy and only thinks and cares about herself and that she has to look pretty all the time. In the second season, it's pretty much the same thing, other than she obviously appears on other channels other than her own, and she does do a few things that are outside her comfort zone, and she does try new things like volleyball, for instance. She may not have been a good player, but at least she tried out for volleyball or something. A big thing that Bizaardvark did wrong, in my opinion, was cancel Jake Paul. The character of Dirk was very funny, he was very entertaining, and he was growing as the second season went on. But as he was growing, he kept missing from many episodes from the second season. He was more focused on the first season, but when the second season came, he was missing from episodes and barely showing up in others. Dirk was by far the most entertaining character on the show. His dares were pretty cool and also funny at the same time, and it took some courage to do the things that he did on this show, which I will always appreciate Jake Paul as an actor for doing on this show. Jake Paul was by far my favorite actor on Bizaardvark. Now going into the third season, I personally am not going to watch the third season because they canceled Jake Paul and they put in 2 other characters, plus they all look older, so I'm not going to continue on with that, but moving on. I think we can all agree that Bizaardvark and other Disney shows definitely have characters with flaws, and other characters have less flaws than the other. The show definitely teaches lessons on friendship, standing up for what's right, standing up for your friends, and going against online bullying. I myself, as a YouTuber, and I like to consider myself an entertainer, I could see things that were relatable to me that they did on their main Google channel, Bizaardvark. As the show is definitely entertaining, and it definitely feels like a YouTube-oriented show. There were definitely things that I could relate to, because I've been doing YouTube for probably 2 years now, and I've enjoyed it. There's also no denying that the cast of this show are successful. I mean, you've got the likes of Olivia Rodrigo, a pop and rock singer, and you've got Jake Paul, YouTuber turned boxer. There are also a few good songs that they put in the show, as the show does focus on like pop and rap songs, but especially rap songs. There were a few that were actually pretty good. One of my favorites is a song called Oops Wrong Emoji. That song was, even if it was short, it was still catchy, and I liked the song. I think everybody worked hard on the set of Bizaardvark, and I did appreciate the show. There were definitely a few negatives on the show, which I will pretty much say that I've already said. 1, took out Jake Paul. 2, he was missing from a lot of Season 2. And 3, a lot of Season 2 wasn't really that good compared to Season 1. Season 1 had the best messages, but Season 2 was definitely getting rid of those messages, and there were and the kids just kept getting into mischief, and they weren't really learning from those mistakes, at least some of the time. But I hope you appreciate this deep dive. I've been working on this for 3 days now. Please like, follow, and subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to be putting out polls to see what kind of videos you want me to put out. So I hope you enjoyed this deep dive, and I will see you in a new video soon.